Okay, so picture this. You can show your computer a picture, right?
Mhm.
And just chat about it like you would with a friend. Like, hey, remember that crazy sunset we saw?
Yeah.
And your computer actually gets it, understands the image, and can discuss it with you.
Wild, right. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. OpenAI just dropped this massive announcement, and it feels like we're taking a big leap toward, like, a real-life sci-fi future.
It really is remarkable. On September 25th, they announced that ChatGPT can now work with both voice and images. It's a whole different ballgame. We're not just telling our computers what to do anymore. It's more like having an actual back and forth. Show it something, get a nuanced response. It's pretty groundbreaking. Okay, so for those of us who haven't had a chance to really dig into all the details, could you break down exactly what ChatGPT can do now? It's like it went back to school or something and came back with a bunch of new skills.
It's like ChatGPT suddenly woke up and realized it had all these senses it never knew about. Seriously, though, being able to handle images along with text, that's a game changer. Analyze what it's seeing, get the context, respond to questions about the image, and on top of that, it can chat with you using voice, like a normal conversation.
So we're talking way beyond just using your voice to set an alarm or something basic, right?
Mhm.
This is like showing ChatGPT a picture of, say, I don't know, your dog doing something totally goofy, and it actually understands why it's funny.
You got it. And the best part is, you don't have to just take my word for it. OpenAI's announcement has these really cool examples. Imagine you're trying to make dinner, just you and whatever random stuff is left in your fridge. Now picture this. You snap a pic of your mismatched ingredients, show it to ChatGPT, and boom, recipe suggestions.
Okay, that's seriously helpful. I can totally see that being a lifesaver. What about using it for more serious stuff, though? Like, say you're struggling with homework.
Absolutely. Imagine you're helping your kid with their math homework and you're both stumped. Instead of tearing your hair out, you take a picture of the problem, show it to ChatGPT, and it not only spits out the answer, but actually walks you through the steps, maybe even visually, in a way that makes sense.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. But now I need a how. How does this even work? Is it some kind of magic? Did OpenAI secretly create sentient AI and they're just, like, slowly revealing it to us?
I promise you, no sentient AI was involved in the making of this technology. But the tech behind it? Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Basically, OpenAI took a bunch of cutting-edge technologies and found a way to weave them together.
Okay, lay it on me. Hit me with the tech talk, but in a way that even I can understand, all right? No pressure.
Okay, so think about the voice interaction, how natural and human-like it sounds. That's thanks to this really advanced text-to-speech model. They basically train the AI on tons of recordings from actual voice actors, breaking those recordings down into these tiny pieces, and then teaching the AI how to put them back together in endless combinations. The result: ChatGPT can now speak in a way that's so real it's almost spoopy.
Wow, so no more robot voices. That's a huge relief.
Yeah, exactly. And for the image understanding part, that's where it gets really wild. They're using their powerful language models, GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, but now they've figured out a way to make them see, too.
So they basically gave ChatGPT eyes.
Pretty much. These models are now processing visual information in almost the same way they understand language, picking out patterns, recognizing objects, and understanding how everything in an image relates to everything else. And to make sure they haven't forgotten about good old-fashioned speech, they integrated their speech recognition system, Whisper. So Whisper transcribes your spoken words into text, ChatGPT processes it, and boom, you're having a conversation. It's a pretty amazing combination of technologies.
Okay, so we've covered the how, but now for the big question. Why should we care? I mean, sure, it's cool that my computer can now tell me what kind of pasta I'm looking at, but how does this actually impact people's lives in a meaningful way?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? It's easy to get caught up in the wow factor of new technology, but the real impact comes when we look deeper. What we're seeing here is the potential to personalize and democratize access to information in ways we've never seen before.
All right, you've got my attention. Tell me more.
Let's start with accessibility. Imagine the possibilities for people who have difficulty typing or reading. Voice and image inputs could completely change how they interact with technology. We take for granted how much of our digital world relies on keyboards and screens, but for some, that's a huge barrier.
That's a really important point. Not everyone interacts with the digital world in the same way. This
Yeah,
could be huge for making technology more inclusive.
exactly. And it goes beyond just convenience. Think about the creative potential. Imagine a writer struggling with writer's block being able to describe a scene to ChatGPT and get feedback, or even have it generate different options for them, or an artist using voice commands to control their digital tools while keeping their hands free to paint. The possibilities really are
I
endless.
hadn't even considered that. It's like this technology could empower people to express their creativity in entirely new ways. And I bet this has massive implications for education too, right?
Absolutely. Just imagine students being able to have truly interactive lessons with ChatGPT. They could ask questions out loud, get clarification on anything they're struggling with, and even get personalized feedback on their work, all in a way that adapts to their learning style.
It's like having a personal tutor on demand. OpenAI even mentioned a partnership with Be My Eyes, an app for visually impaired people. Can you tell us more about that?
It's a fantastic example of this technology being used for good. Be My Eyes connects visually impaired users with sighted volunteers who can help them with everyday tasks over live video calls. With ChatGPT's image understanding, users can now simply point their phones at objects or situations and get instant descriptions or guidance.
That's incredible. So instead of having to wait for a volunteer to become available, they've got instant access to the assistance they need, just like that. What a powerful example of how AI can be used to break down barriers and empower individuals. You're right, we can't just focus on the positives without acknowledging the potential downsides. What are some of the concerns surrounding this technology, and what's OpenAI doing to address them?
One of the things OpenAI has been emphasizing is their commitment to a responsible rollout. They're not just throwing this technology out into the world without safeguards. They're starting with a more controlled release, initially making these features available to a smaller group of Plus and enterprise users.
So it's like a phased approach, which makes sense. By starting smaller, they can get a better handle on how people are actually using these features and address any unexpected issues that might pop up.
Exactly. It allows them to monitor for any potential misuse, gather feedback, and fine-tune their safety measures before making it available to a wider audience.
That's reassuring to hear. It sounds like they're really trying to get ahead of any potential problems.
They're also being very intentional about the use cases they're initially promoting. They're focusing on applications that have a clear benefit for users and align with their mission of creating AI that has a positive impact on the world.
Like the partnership with Be My Eyes, for instance.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how this technology can be used to empower people and make a real difference in their lives.
Exactly. And while this technology is incredibly advanced, they're also very upfront about the fact that it's not perfect. It's still under development and can make mistakes. They're emphasizing that ChatGPT should not be relied upon for making critical decisions, especially in areas like medical diagnosis or legal advice.
It's a good reminder that even with all the amazing things AI can do, it's still just a tool. And like any tool, it has its limitations.
Right. And ultimately, it's up to us, as users and as a society, to use this technology responsibly and ethically. OpenAI can put safeguards in place, but the way this technology shapes our world will depend on the choices we make.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time, isn't it? We're standing on the edge of a new frontier, and it's up to us to decide what we build here.
That's a great way to put it. This technology has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, from how we learn to how we communicate and even how we create. But with that potential comes a responsibility to think critically about its implications and ensure we're using it for good.
It's a fascinating conversation, and one that I think we'll be having for years to come. Thanks so much for breaking it all down for us today. As always, it's been a pleasure picking your brain.
The pleasure was all mine. It's exciting to see where this technology takes us next.
And for our listeners, if you want to delve even deeper into this topic, be sure to check out the show notes for links to all the resources we discussed. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of cutting-edge tech. Until next time.